In rural Florida in 1949, four young black men accused of a crime they didn't commit. One was hunted down and shot over 400 times. The others beaten, tortured, and sentenced to die. Their names were Ernest Thomas, Charles Greenlee, Samuel Shepard, and Walter Irvin. Together, they became known as the Groveland Four. But for more than 70 years, their story was buried until the truth finally broke through. It began on a summer night, July 16, 1949, in Lake County, Florida. A white woman named Norma Paget told police she had been raped by four black men while her husband was tied up beside her car. Within hours, the sheriff gathered a mob of hundreds of armed white men. They stormed to black neighborhoods, burning homes, breaking windows, and dragging people out into the streets. Ernest Thomas, just 26, tried to run. He never made it far. A posse of nearly 1,000 men tracked him through the woods. When they found him, they opened fire. The sheriff later said, "We shot him more than 400 times. 400 bullets for a crime with no proof." The other three, Greenlee, Shepard, and Irvin, were caught and dragged to the county jail. For hours, they were beaten until their faces were unrecognizable. The police demanded they confess. When they said they were innocent, the beatings got worse. Their so-called confessions were forced under torture. And in the Jim Crow South, that was all the court needed. Their trial was a performance, not justice. All-white jury, no black witnesses, no real evidence. Within hours, two of the men, Shepard and Irvin, were sentenced to death. The youngest, 16-year-old Charles Greenlee, was given life in prison. And just like that, the Groveland Four were erased, condemned by lies. But the story didn't end there. Months later, the Supreme Court overturned the convictions, a rare victory. Yet when Sheriff Willis McCall was ordered to transfer the two men, Shepard and Irvin, to another jail, he decided to take matters into his own hands. On a dark road, McCall pulled over, took out his gun, and shot both men. Shepard died instantly. Irvin, somehow, survived. When reporters asked the sheriff what happened, he said, "They tried to escape, but Irvin, bleeding on the ground, whispered the truth. We didn't run. He shot us for nothing." Walter Irvin's death sentence was later commuted. He spent years in prison before being released and died not long after. Charles Greenlee lived decades carrying the weight of what happened. It took 72 years until 2021 for the state of Florida to officially clear their names. The Groveland Four finally declared innocent, but their story still echoes, a reminder how fragile justice can be and how long truth can take to rise. Four men, one lie, 70 years of silence. This was the story of the Groveland Four, the men Florida tried to erase, but history refused to forget.